Hello, and welcome back to the Brothers Whimm podcast. I'm your host, Matt, joined as always by my brother and co-host, Ian. Ian, how you doing today?
I'm good, Matthew. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. It's a good Saturday.
Yeah, which is not normal for us because we
yes.
normally record the podcast on Thursday. So we're doing this like a day before you guys. Well, probably like 2 days before you guys hear it, but a day before it's posted. So that's good for.
Yeah, it's good. It's really the best day we can actually do.
It'll make it a bit more relevant.
Yeah, that's true. You're gonna hear a day before things. You're not gonna really miss anything.
I feel like sometimes when we record, it's like, wow, like, and people probably listen like Monday or Tuesday. If they'd listen, they're probably like, huh, that's kind of old news at this point, considering how fast everything moves. So
maybe.
Anyway.
I think the only thing we could talk about is like football, but if it happens on Sunday night, and it hasn't happened yet, so.
Do we need to change our update schedule? Because we'll probably be talking a lot about football for a little. I won't say a lot, but like we'll definitely talk about it like at least 10 minutes every other episode.
We'll have to figure that out because.
Stay tuned on that. That's live plans as we record this.
I think maybe we could always do like just sacrifice it and say just review the week before, like normal.
Oh, I'm gonna forget
schedule.
everything. It will be kind of fun
That's
to like
fair.
preview the week and like say all our predictions. And then people are listening. They're like, "Well, that didn't happen."
Yeah, that's fair.
They'll
be able to see on Monday night whether or not everything happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we should go with that.
We'll see.
Let's just stay on the topic of football though.
Okay, cool.
And
we're here.
Start with something that just happened actually that Ian doesn't may or may not know.
Oh God, is it more Ravens injury
No,
news?
no. This is college football news.
Oh.
Oregon State was playing Ohio. Oregon State was 12. Ohio State was
Oh wait, Ohio State, not Ohio.
Sorry,
okay, I was gonna say
Ohio.
That's a big difference.
Oh yeah, Ohio is not a notable school.
Okay, so Oregon State is what?
Oregon
Unranked?
State is 12.
12. Okay.
And Ohio State is 3.
Go Beavers, right?
And always. And Ohio State was up early in the fourth quarter. I tuned in the fourth quarter, and they were up 2 touchdowns, I think. And Ohio State got a touchdown, gave them the ball back with like 4 minutes, and Ohio State couldn't do anything, and they stopped them. So Ohio State gets the ball back with like 2.5 minutes to score a touchdown. Very easy. Very just regular offensive drive.
Sure.
One of the worst drives I've ever seen. Ends in a rollout to the right, really, really long. Looked like he's going to run out of bounds on third and 18, I think it was. And
who's he?
Whoever the Ohio State quarterback is. Sorry. He rolls out.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense,
I was going to say, I'm like, well, he did roll out.
It's good to have specificity in these
yes,
instead of being like, the one guy went here and then he went
Ohio
there.
State quarterback went out to the right, almost ran out of bounds, and decided to just heave it down the field way over the receiver's head that was right in front of him. And it just went right into the hands of an Ohio State defender and ended the game.
An Oregon State defender?
Oregon defender, sorry.
Oregon State.
Man, I got to think. Okay.
You said the Ohio State quarterback rolled out and threw it to an Ohio State defender.
Did I say Ohio State again?
You did.
Okay, it was Oregon, not Oregon State.
Oh, gosh.
Go
Ducks then.
There could be so many.
Was it the Ducks?
Man, there could be
okay,
so
never
many
mind.
things.
Disregard this entire thing. We might need to restart the entire episode at this point.
It was Oregon versus Ohio
time
State.
out. This is way too convoluted. Ohio State lost.
Yes.
Got upset.
Yes.
Cool. All right.
Yes.
Sorry to those Ohio State fans. I know one that's pretty close to me and he's a big fan. Well,
usually means their season's over. That's all.
It means they might not be. Well, you know.
No, one loss.
No, you can get
a team like that. No.
Is it expanded to 12 teams yet, or is it still top 4?
I don't know much about it. I just know.
Yeah, I'm not a big college football guy.
I'm not super big on it. I mean, you could tell by me messing up the names for like 7 times.
What color was the other team?
What other team? There's 2 teams.
Yeah, the team that wasn't Ohio State.
Green.
So it's just Oregon.
It's just Oregon.
Okay.
Yes.
You said Oregon, then you said, no, I'm not sure about that.
No. It was Oregon.
Okay, great.
Yes. All right. Well, let's talk about the sad news.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, speaking of Ohio State, our boy J.K. Dobbins was our – well, he was out first. So that was – all right, you talk about it. You're the host. Sorry. This is a mess of a podcast.
Well, we could be co-hosts, Ian. That's why you're a co-host.
Okay.
So
want me to do it?
You can go ahead.
All right. Well, we're talking about Ohio State. J.K. Dobbins on the Ravens. He tore his Achilles. And so Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, and Tyson Williams – I believe his name is. We're going to be our leading backs this year, our top 3 backs. Then Justice Hill tore his ACL, and that was not good. And then Gus Edwards tore his ACL. So our
Marcus Peters.
Yeah, well, yeah. The Ravens' backfield is diminished right now. So we have the 2017 All-Star team of Latavius Murray, Le'Veon Bell and Devontae Freeman now either on our practice squad or starting. So
Yeah.
that's scary.
So I told Ian I'm excited about it just because we were going into the year with like certainty, kind of like this was our team last year, this is our team again, but now we're coming in with a fresh set of running backs, and it's like they're reputable veterans. Like they all have played and done well at some point, and I trust that they'll do well enough. And I think it might complement Lamar's style a lot in terms of we have 3 different backs now that nobody's seen start on any team in the past 3 years.
It's a real good spin zone on that one.
Yeah.
There's a reason they haven't
yeah.
started in 3 years. You know?
Yeah, but they're coming back. They're starting. And Lamar, we run the option offense. It's heavily reliant. Or we go to the pass game and, you know.
Yeah, the only hope I have is, like, the fact that we have a decent offensive line and Lamar, like, one of the literally the best running quarterback probably ever next to Mike Vick. They're both up there. You could probably throw me back there, and I'd get, like, 2 or 3 yards a carry, like, just because everyone's worried about Lamar, that, like, it's like I'd rather contain Lamar than have, Latavius Murray run straight upfield on me.
You can stop Latavius.
I think that's the only thing that's giving me any hope right now. But yeah, as Matthew said, Marcus Peters is also our second best our second best cornerback. So it's been a rough week to be a Ravens fan. And then T.J. Watt signed an extension on the Steelers.
Yeah, so I'm okay with that. I think he was going to get it anyway. It's just a little bigger than I thought it would be.
Which is good, I guess,
Yeah.
Less cap room for him in the future. But good for T.J. Watt.
Yeah,
Get your money, man. I have no ill will towards him. He hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
But I just don't like the teams I don't like being better.
Yeah, it's crazy looking. I'm looking at, like, NFL predictions all the time, and they're really back and forth on the AFC North.
Yeah.
And it's a tough division to decide this year. Like, are the Browns going to do it? Like, very well, they could win the division very easily now.
Yeah.
The Steelers could also shock, but
Steelers could have anything from 4 to 13 wins, and I really wouldn't be that surprised.
Yeah. They could be the worst team in the division.
Real quick, so I agree with you. I think the Browns definitely have a better chance now. Like, I'm sure they're the betting favorites to win because they have a really talented roster. Baker's pretty good, and their coaches, as we have seen, stable. So that's good.
Yeah.
And they have a good front office, so good for the Browns. I still want the Ravens to win, obviously.
Yeah.
But going back to the Ravens running back situation, are there any, like, backs you think we should trade for? Or do you think we should just be like, nah, let's see how this goes?
I think for now we should see how it goes.
Okay, well, if there's any running back that you'd want that makes sense, like, I mean, obviously we're not going to, like, trade for Christian McCaffrey, but,
they could be doing a rebuild.
that'd be cool. I would love that. Don't get me wrong.
All right, we'll take him.
But you know what I mean? Like, is there any, like, second string back that you're like, that'd be interesting?
I really can't. My head for running backs is stuck in, like, 2019, 2018.
And in the world of running backs, that is, like, they're done.
They are. Yeah. Like Kenyon Drake, I'm like, yeah, Kenyon Drake was pretty good. And nope, he was traded to Miami, I think, and he's behind Myles Gaskin. So, like, I have no clue.
Yeah.
I couldn't even name, like, a secondary running back this year because they rotate so quick. Like, Todd Gurley, flash in the pan.
Oh, yeah. Well, he had, like, arthritis in his knees. So.
Yes, but that's no excuse.
He's a Baltimore native. There's a lot of talk, even before the running backs got injured on our team, that he might come in as, like, a training camp guy, but I just don't think he's got it anymore, which is kind of sad.
I wouldn't want Todd Gurley, if anything.
Yeah, but
I'd be okay with it. But
that really would be like the 2018 All-Star team, man.
Oh, yeah, that would be.
I would be in literal tears, like, if you told me that's what our running back room is 2018.
Yeah.
But it's unfortunately 2021, and running backs get run through somehow. I don't know how. I mean, I get it's a taxing position. You got to block, got to catch, you're pretty much involved.
But how is
But like an offensive lineman,
Kamara, how is he still top of the line after 5-6 years?
I don't know if it's been that long. He got drafted. He'd been drafted in 2017. That's when the Saints had that really good draft class with, like, Ramczyk and him and.
Is that really, man?
Gosh, who else? That was a really good draft class for the Saints.
I did not pay attention to football from, like, 2017 till when the Ravens won the Super Bowl.
So, like, you can kind of, like, you can see it recently. There's been a lot of controversy in the NFL giving running backs a second contract. I think the mega contract has gone the way of the dinosaur, or is that the way you say that?
I don't know if that's a saying I've ever heard.
Well,
but it makes sense.
Zeke has a 6-year, $90 million contract. Todd Gurley got, like, a huge contract, and you could see how that worked out. And I think teams are more wary of it. Obviously, they pay Christian McCaffrey, but, like, Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones and someone else, Derrick Henry, they all are getting around like 14 mil, like 12 mil, like more conservative. And I think the players realize like, hey, like this might be the best I'm gonna get. Like if I tear an ACL, I'm never gonna get any more money. So they take what they can get, which is sad, but it's just a reality. There's always some younger. It's not a simple position. I don't want to like make like call out running backs, but it's like
the only dude who's been doing it for that like a long time is Frank Gore. Like,
yeah,
he's a case study.
But he's also a simplistic back in the sense that
he doesn't do much. He's blocking, you know.
But that like
he's good at what he does.
Hyper like quickness and reactivity and explosiveness just it's a exponential downward curve of just like it does not happen for you. You lose it so quickly. So I feel bad for those running backs, but you know, get your money when you can. And I just when I was thinking of going back to trading for running back, I know the Texans have a lot. And they're a weird running back room.
One.
They have
David Johnson.
Yeah, they have David Johnson, Mark Ingram, and then also Phillip Lindsay. And I think Phillip Lindsay might be a good, you know, take a flyer on him. You know, they're in rebuild.
But I feel like that's equivalent to like Latavius Murray. Like,
I don't know. I mean, he's younger. I think he's good. I think he's a Gus Edwards option.
Quick, though.
Did he?
It's just because they Denver, didn't he?
They just got Royce Freeman or whatever his name is. It Royce Freeman?
I've never heard that name.
That was his name. Oh no, Melvin Gordon. They got Melvin Gordon.
Oh yeah.
And they also drafted that guy in the second round, the guy from North Carolina whose name he's on one of my fantasy teams. It's a weird name.
No clue. Jaquavius Murray.
Oh no. I'll look it up real quick. But yeah, I think Phillip Lindsay might be someone that we could be like, oh, you know, look into that. So I don't know.
Maybe. I can't really. I'm trying to think like.
Also, James Conner on the Cardinals.
He's on the Cardinals now. I didn't know he was.
I'm pretty positive. Javonte Williams is that Denver running back I was thinking of. So.
The only one I had it in my head. Oh, James Robinson. He's not a secondary, or second back.
Oh no, that's ship has sailed. Travis Etienne or Etienne, however you say it.
Yeah.
Messed up his foot. So.
Oh, did he? Oh yeah. He's
out for the entire year. Yeah. So now he's
starting.
It's just James Robinson. I love James Robinson.
Yeah, yeah. They seem like weren't they down on him last year? Like even though he was like
he's a 1,000-yard rusher.
Yeah, he was going off. But they drafted the running back.
He's either the only or they drafted Etienne with their second pick because they got Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, yeah.
It was also in the first round though. But yeah, James Robinson, I think he was either the only or one of the only undrafted rookies in history to get 1,000 yards in his rookie season, which is incredible.
I mean, it makes sense. You know, you're not going to get an opportunity like that in your first season.
That also gives me hope as someone who's reeling for running backs right now. That like these guys we're bringing in, like we don't have many young guys we're bringing in, but like
Gus Edwards
running back,
was a free agent.
If running back is such a volatile position that like you can just get an undrafted rookie free agent. You mean
Yeah.
So I don't know. Just it seems like, I don't want to say an easy position. I feel bad, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it seems like
there's a lot of guys. Yeah, rotating door. So, but yeah, the injury stuff has been rough. If you're a Ravens fan, we play the Raiders this Monday night, and
hopefully, maybe it's equal now because of the running back situation.
The spread was like 4.5.
Yeah.
We got 4.5. No, they got 4.5 points in the spread before.
Oh yeah, no, I was gonna say.
Before all these injuries happened, so we're gonna see. I don't know what it is now, but we're still probably favored to win. But time will tell. If we lose this, I'm gonna be in panic mode. I already called this. I'll say it on a piece of media. The Chargers are my second team at the moment. So
Jets are my second team.
Really? You like Zach
Usually,
Wilson?
I cheer for the Dolphins a lot.
Okay.
I like both of those teams in that division, which, you know, I could just kind of flip-flop, decide which one I'm cheering for this year.
Might be a Dolphins year.
It might be a Dolphins year. They might win the division pretty handily.
We need to do our hot takes for the season. We did hot takes last year, remember?
Did we?
Yeah, like mine was that every Bird team would make the playoffs. Didn't work.
Didn't I make one?
You did. That's why I said we did it last
year.
year.
No, I'm saying this year, I thought. Because I thought you said something about Bird teams this year as well.
I just like that bet always, but... My bet the bet this year was that no cat teams would make the playoffs, and you said that they would. At least one would, and I said...
100%. Yeah.
And I said no. I think the 4 cat teams are the Lions, the Bengals, the Jaguars, and the... Cat team. What else?
Yeah, I had 2 of those.
Jaguars, Bengals, Lions, and... Oh my gosh. There definitely is
every NFL team
and it's a bad cat team. Sorry guys, it's not good podcasting. I'm looking it up.
I only had the Jaguars and the Bengals, so the Lions are the ones that usually fade me. I'm trying to think of each division. You
Oh,
go
the
through each
Panthers, the Carolina Panthers.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not even a hot take, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think the Panthers,
I
Lions,
think the
Jaguars, or
Jaguars could
Bengals
do
will
it.
make the playoffs.
I
So
think the Jaguars could do it. They have a terrible defense, but
it's not really a hot take if you follow football.
yeah, no, it's not that hot.
It's a hot take that one of them will make it, but
Yeah, no, yeah, I'd agree.
I don't think the bird teams are making it this year. I could do this one better. Seahawks, Ravens, Cardinals. I lied. Eagles and did I say Falcons?
No.
Falcons. That's the 5. Falcons, Ravens, Eagles, Cardinals, Seahawks.
Yes.
I think.
I don't think the Falcons make it.
No, I don't think the Cardinals do, but you're high on them.
No,
and I think the Eagles are going to be
Cardinals
awful.
win the division.
Sure, yeah, totally.
But
that's your hot take.
I'll take it. If that's a hot take, I'll take it
Mhm.
because I'm loving the Cardinals this year. I loved the Cardinals last year. I thought they put up a good effort for what they had. They just didn't play well when they needed to.
That's the way the game goes, but
they got some acquisitions. So.
Yeah, J.J. Watt and A.J. Green really pulling you through. Yeah.
A.J. Green hasn't played well in a while. Maybe it's because he was stuck on the Bengals.
That's got to be it.
Finally got a good quarterback behind him.
Do you have any thoughts about the game this Monday? Ravens Raiders. It's at Las Vegas, in case you're curious. Monday night.
Yeah, I'd
8
like to see the
probably.
crowd. That's probably the biggest thing.
That's gonna be it. It's a nice stadium.
Yeah,
Insights on the game though.
I'd like to see a lot of passing.
Okay.
I want to see a lot of passing week 1 from like every team because that first game, the Cowboys and Buccaneers, was very fun to watch.
Yeah, that was a great game.
Because they only ran the ball like 7 times.
Any takeaways from that game? The Buccaneers Cowboys game from
Dak's
this past
back.
Thursday night. Yeah.
Dak is back.
Dak looked great.
I mean, I don't think he's going to regress at all
Mhm.
this season. I think he's going to probably be leading pass yards or whatever, like
he was on.
whatever it's called.
Leader in passing
100%.
yards.
Yeah, he was
on
well
pace last
beyond.
year.
He was well beyond everyone last year.
I think he had 1,800 yards at week 5 when he injured himself.
And like everyone else had like 1,400.
Yeah,
Matt Ryan had like 1,400.
It's incredible. So
it's wild.
he's got a great receiving room. That whole offense
Got a
is really
terrible
good.
defense. So
What do you
here's
think?
the hoping.
What do you think's the best position group in the NFC East? Washington defense or the Cowboys offense?
Washington defense.
Yeah,
100%.
I agree. I love the defense there. That front seven's crazy. Montez Sweat and Chase Young up there.
I really wish I had them in fantasy.
Yeah, I love them.
I just know they're gonna produce points.
They're my NFC team this year.
Not
Not that I think's gonna win, but the one
What
I'm
about the
rooting for.
Chargers?
They're AFC. So.
Are they AFC?
They
Oh
are.
my God.
So that'll do
I used
that.
to always get them confused. There's the only team I get confused with AFC and NFC.
Yeah.
Because they're so far onto the West Coast,
Mhm.
and I used to think it was.
Well, there's 2 LA teams, the Rams and the Chargers. Rams
Yeah,
are
and
NFC.
they're flipped,
Chargers are AFC.
All right.
Well, there we go.
Well, that's a football talk for the week. I don't want to go too much farther on that.
Yeah,
'cause
we'll leave it up there.
that's
'cause
well enough.
Not everybody listens to our podcast for our football insight. So what do you want to talk about next?
Let's do Matt's Movie Corner Part 2.
Yeah,
I
with
guess.
some sprinkle of Ian's movie corner in there
Yes.
too.
It won't be necessarily strictly movie corner. It'll be media corner. Media Corner Monday, if you're listening to this on Monday.
Sure, count it.
So let's start with a movie we both watched together. The first movie after the podcast we watched was Spirited Away. A Studio Ghibli movie that was...
Studio Ghibli movie.
Studio Ghibli movie.
Ghibli.
Ghibli made this one.
Have you watched any of the new iCarly series?
No, I
it's
haven't
on like
seen a single
Paramount.
thing.
I've heard it's not terrible.
I don't think it would be, but I don't ever want to watch it, really.
But what? Oh, Fuller House came out, and apparently that was buns. But Full House.
I've seen some Fuller House. That was trash.
Yeah, so I watched a little
Hot
bit, and that
trash.
was bad. But like all these like revival shows, I'm like, nah.
I don't need to see it again.
I get bad
I'll go back and
feelings about
watch it again if
I
I
watched a kid show because I was a kid. I don't need to watch it now. I'm an adult. I'm doing adult things.
Yeah.
So.
And speaking of kids shows, Spirited Away was a kids movie.
Still is.
Still is a kids movie, actually. Rated PG. I think it was released in like 2003, something around there.
I think you're right. Maybe
so
01.
a pretty old movie in terms of animation and all that. And it was beautiful. I think Ian can attest. Very beautiful movie.
I love the animation style.
Great animation style, great characters, and great environment. It's you really don't know what's gonna happen, and then it does, and you're just blown away. Pretty simple plot, but just beautiful all around. So,
What was your favorite part of it?
Without spoiling anything, the boiler room in general.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever they went down to the boiler room, that was a lot of fun. Love
Yeah.
the little the little soot guys.
So guys were cute.
Um,
I'd say mine was probably like the aesthetic of the bathhouse that they worked in. Like
Yeah,
I just
that's
love
fair.
like the
Super crowded,
steam,
bustling.
like the Japanese like walls covering
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
like and the way the water was poured and all that. I was just like that. I want to
It's
be.
pretty.
I want to go there.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
also the character, the mysterious character, the like
I forget what his name is.
I
know
don't
what you're
remember.
talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah,
The main guy.
he was like shrouded in like a black cloak, or like his skin was like I don't know, like but he had like a white little mask
Yeah.
on. So but he was really cool. I dug him. He
People
was
are
funny.
gonna flame us for that if you watch anime, because that's like he's like the #1 character in
Yeah,
anime.
but he's cool. I loved him.
He is cool. I like him. We'll move on to our next movie.
Oh, what do you give it?
Oh yes, yeah. I forgot to give it a rating. I'd give that one an 8.4 out of 10. Pretty good. It's a kids movie. I wish I had seen it earlier in my life, because it's a little simple, but it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So like I can appreciate it as being beautiful, but it is a kids movie still. Like there are some appeal to the older audience, but
Yeah, the rewatchability of it kind of like boosts it up for me, because like the
Yeah.
story's simple. It's not simplistic even. Like I mean, like it's got like a simplistic like narrative
Direction.
character like arc,
yeah.
like what the character needs to do and how they're gonna accomplish it. But like there's a lot of like unique and interesting
Yeah,
things
yeah.
in there. The rewatchability though I think is really high, so I'm gonna give it like an 8.7.
All right. Next movie is another animated classic from even further back. I forget what this one is. I think it might be 89,
88 I think.
88. This movie is Akira, a anime classic movie.
Yeah, not a kids movie.
Nothing, actually the complete opposite of a child's movie.
Yes.
Rated R, very. You have no clue what you're getting into when you step into it. Kind of similar.
What
in
is
a way.
Akira? Can you give me a quick rundown?
So
I've seen it, but I want to do it for
Yes.
the audience.
So it's an animated movie about a biker gang that gets caught up in the wrong type of trouble.
Yeah.
And without going too much further into it, because this movie is just wild.
Yeah, you can't just have
there's
to
so much to it.
Kind of just have to
that
experience
You
it.
can't explain what happens most of the time. You're not told what's happening most of the time, so you just kind of have to assume things. Like, you get a headache after watching this movie. To be honest. I had a really bad headache both times I've seen this movie, but it's a good headache.
Which is not a I was gonna say it's not a good review of it.
Yeah, it would seem like it's a bad thing, but it was actually a really good headache. It's kind of like the Tenet headache that I had.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, wow, that was something else.
Last 30 minutes of this movie are confusing.
Yes, yeah, but they're
You just don't know what's happening.
it's like so rapid, and like they'll cut out the music entirely and just show still frames, which is like so
And the dialogue
cool in my
too.
mind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just,
like it's
quiet.
the main thing in this entire movie to me is like the influence it had on animation in the future, because like it was one of the like first innovators. First ever movies created. I know the 80s were a really long time ago.
Yeah.
So.
If this is the first movie ever created, they would stop making
movies
movies.
movies wouldn't have been created.
It wouldn't have
after
been
that.
an industry,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah,
They would have
yeah.
been like, oh, no one wants to ever see that.
I don't think we're allowed to do that anymore.
I think that's illegal. What you just did.
But crazy movie. Overall, I think it was extremely good. The second watch through, it was a lot easier to understand after, seeing it once and getting things told to me by my friends who had seen it already. So on a scale from 1 to 10, I'd actually give this one a 9.1, just because it's for when it came out, it's also in its own right beautiful. Like everything is like so intricate. It takes place in a city.
Neo Tokyo.
Yes.
Mhm.
And
Which
wow.
Neo is 2019.
Yeah,
which
it
is awesome.
literally is. Yeah, we're past it. We're
Yeah.
past where Akira
It's
was.
like they were in 30 years in the future, and that was 2 years ago.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm like, that kind of feels weird.
It's wild.
But I give it, if you want to hear what mine
Yes,
is,
yes.
I'd probably say,
I was just gonna.
I'm going to go not way lower, but like, I still liked it a lot. I thought it was a good movie. I'm going to say a 7.7 out of 10.
That's fair.
Just because it lost me more. I was also very tired when I watched this. And I didn't fall asleep for a lot of it, but I did doze off when I was like very tired when I watched it. So that definitely affected it. It's a movie I'd pay attention to.
Yeah.
Especially because you're reading subtitles. So, but I don't think I'd rewatch it, honestly.
I definitely would personally. I'd watch it as many times as I could.
So there you go. We have a different opinion once.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but it's still a good movie. I realized the influence it had. I like the story a lot, although it was sometimes confusing.
Yeah, it throws you into it. I think that's the easiest way to describe it.
I feel like the characters weren't as developed as they could have been. I feel like
you don't really have a tie to them until the end.
Yeah, you really don't care about them honestly.
Yeah.
So
that's why, like, rewatching it, you have a tie from the start.
Sure,
like, you know
that's better.
Everybody, what happens, and all that. So let's move on to the next movie. This could be a shocking one. I don't know if you've ever seen these movies, but I watched the first Harry Potter for the first time.
Yeah, they just got put on HBO, didn't they?
They did. And
Marissa likes those a lot, our sister.
Yeah, I believe so. And my friends were berating me for not having ever seen it, and I was willing to give it a chance, even though I really had no desire to watch the movie. Just it falls under the same thing as Star Wars for me. Yeah. I know a lot of people probably hate me for not seeing Star Wars or Harry Potter or, like Twilight type movies. Like, I don't really care to see those movies. They've gone and passed. I didn't watch them when I should have. I don't want to see them now. Yeah, I don't ever want to see them again.
It's such a big commitment.
It is.
That's like 24 hours of movies for Harry Potter.
And they're all Harry Potter was 2.5 hours long, the first one. My biggest complaint is that the entire movie was set up. There was literally no plot.
Oh, I watched this when I was 5 years old.
I won't say there's no plot.
I watched this movie when I was 5 years old with my kindergarten best friend, and we did not really watch it. We just played with Legos while it was on the background, so I don't remember anything about it.
It's a lot of just world building, and there's no real motivation. You don't know what's going on. Like, I get some of the deceit and stuff that's happening, but I don't. They only told you why they want the Sorcerer's Stone like twice, and then in the end. I don't know if I want to spoil that, but it is Harry Potter, so I'm sure people have seen it. If you haven't seen it, little spoiler warning. In the end, it really doesn't matter that they didn't let the Voldemort get the Sorcerer's Stone.
It was about the friends they made along the way, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then I'm like, what? I'm like, it didn't matter. So this entire movie was 2.5 hours of setup because the first 2 hours literally were set up, and the last 30 minutes were resolution to a conflict that didn't need resolution.
Huh.
So I liked it overall because the world building was good. I'd say it's a good movie. I wouldn't say it's a great movie. I wouldn't say it's the best of all time. I wouldn't say I don't know if I'd even like it as a kid, really.
What's the number you got on it?
So yeah, I'd probably give it like a 6.9, nice. Which is, I mean, I wanted to give it a 7, but I have to give it the highest 6 I can give. Yeah, so unfortunately, it has to be a 6.9. But
unfortunately,
I think that's still good. I don't think it's bad. I think if you're going 6 or below, you're getting into some bad territory. So I'd still,
Are you gonna watch the other ones?
I think they're gonna make me watch the other ones, which I'm okay with. But if the second one is not good, I don't know if I'll be willing to watch anymore.
Yeah.
They say the second one's better than the first, and the third's better than the second, but I really don't want to spend another 4 hours just doing that.
I'm falling into media peer pressure with my friends are like yelling at me to watch Ted Lasso, or at least a group of my friends. Shout out to Blair. And he is like, they're talking about how good it is. I'm like, I gotta finish The Sopranos, which I'm gonna talk about, but like
you can talk about it now because I only have the next thing is the TV show. So.
Oh sure, yeah. So I am working on The Sopranos. I actually surprised myself. I was watching a little this morning. And it was season 6B because they split up season 6 for some reason. And I was on episode 8. And they started killing some main characters. I won't say who, obviously. But I was like, whoa, that's interesting. Why are they killing these guys? And I went to go look at what episode I was on. And I was on the second to last episode. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm almost done. So right now I'm currently in the middle of the final episode. And all I know is that apparently the ending sucks. I know a little bit about the ending. And my mom has seen the show twice through. And she's like, yep, ending sucks. And I'm like,
yeah.
All right, prepared for it. But the entire show has been awesome. I am a big fan. I think it's one of like my top 5 shows of all time.
I'm gonna have to give it a watch.
It's incredible.
I love. That's one of those ones where it is a classic and you can still watch it, rather than Harry Potter, Star Wars. Like Star Wars, you can still watch, but
the characters are incredible in the show. Like I love good character development and character arcs, and at first I wasn't super into like the show, but eventually once you start getting attached to these characters, it becomes a lot better. Yeah. So I mean, I'm not gonna give it a ranking because I haven't finished yet, but
especially with hour-long episodes.
Oh yeah.
For 6 seasons,
it's
with
tough.
A lot of episodes, like I'm speaking of the future, what we're going to talk about in a sec,
Mm.
I have been watching a show that also has
You
hour-long
can
episodes.
take it. I'm done with The
Oh, okay.
Sopranos, so
I've been watching The Wire. Do you want to give a rating to The Sopranos?
I'm not done with it yet, but
Okay.
I love it.
We'll come back.
We'll say like 9.7 right now out of 10.
Okay, all right. That's a massive score.
It's well, I mean, like it's one of the top 5 shows I've ever seen.
That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, I've seen a lot of shows.
And I'm gonna give The Wire a massive score too, which is a bit of a spoiler. But The Wire also has hour-long episodes. The seasons are a bit shorter, I believe.
Yeah.
And I just got through season 1. This is the first show I have not been binge watching. Finding time like every second of the day to watch it. I'll watch an episode every other day, pretty much. And they're long. Sometimes I'll stop them in the middle just to pick them up later. But it always encapsulates me whenever I come back to it. It is Breaking Bad if they didn't hold back and it was Baltimore. Like,
which is exciting for me.
Yeah, so good.
I want to watch it.
Oh, so good.
We are on opposite iconic HBO shows, and we'll flip probably in the near future to where like I'm almost on Sopranos. I got some other stuff to watch like Ted Lasso, but I'm gonna watch The Wire when I want another serious show. And you're watching The Wire now, and eventually you're gonna watch Sopranos.
100%.
Which is annoying in terms of us talking about it because we just had to dance around it and be like, you'll be like, this one scene where Chris does this, and I'm like,
yeah. There's not.
Oh, speaking, R.I.P. Michael K. Williams.
Oh yes, yeah. Omar. Shout out to Omar.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Man, he's so good so far. He's been so good.
Yeah.
So yeah, rest in peace, Michael K. Williams.
Very sad.
But The Wire.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Sorry, no, I'm trying to think of where I should go with this. The Wire's super good. There's a point in season 1 that if you've seen it, the main character death, since you talked about main character death in season, I'll talk about the main character death in 1, was so
jarring.
It wasn't really jarring because you kind of knew what was happening, but it was just like so sad. Like, why did it have to happen?
Oh, that's sad.
Type thing. And it was just hit so much. And then from there, the rest of the season is just like perfect. It just falls into place. The ending to season 1 was really good, I think. It sets up for season 2 perfectly. Season 2, I've started watching it. I've watched like 2 episodes now, and it's kind of completely different in a sense. But I kind of like it so far. The plot's getting a little deeper. It felt a little shallow to start, but I think they're trying to do that on purpose. So as to not give you as much information to start as possible.
Nice.
But overall, season 1 of The Wire, I'd give a 9.6 out of 10.
Nice.
Very good. Top 3 shows probably for me. I think it beats out Breaking Bad for top 3 so far.
What do you have above it? I know it's hard to just like.
It's so hard to think of. Yeah,
Is Game of Thrones above it or no?
Game of Thrones is probably above it.
Okay.
Even if you count the ending, I think that's 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I'd have to think on other shows.
We'll do some.
Maybe Brooklyn Nine-Nine might be up there.
Okay.
That's a really good. It might be just under The Wire or Breaking Bad, but they're all kind of up there. But The Wire's kind of pushing its way through, even with just season 1. So
nice. Well, we'll talk about it in the future probably.
Yeah, very exciting.
Any other things on your movie corner?
That is it for this week. Hopefully, I can get a few more movies in for however many weeks it is until we do another Matt's Movie Corner. Because
time will tell.
With my busy schedule, it is hard to watch movies.
Are you gonna watch Mortal Kombat with me? You don't have to. If you don't want to. I didn't watch the new Mortal Kombat on HBO when it came around. I might force Emma to watch it tonight. I just want to see it, man. I love the games. Like, I don't love them. I mean, I played MK9 a lot, and then I think I downloaded MK10 when it was like super cheap on Steam or like a Microsoft Game of the Week, and I enjoyed it. But like, I know the characters and I enjoy that. So
yeah, I've played it a bit at friends' houses. Done a couple remote computing sessions where I've played it, which is pretty fun. But I don't have a tie to the game enough or the lore. Like, I really, truly don't care, and I don't think it'll be a good movie.
Oh.
Otherwise.
Speaking of, I was thinking of one of the characters, and there's a scene in the new Shang-Chi movie that just came out. I almost forgot to mention that I saw this movie, so I get to go to Ian's movie corner now.
Oh.
And so if you haven't heard of this movie, I don't know how, but it's the new Marvel movie. Really? You never heard of it?
Never mind.
Okay.
You said the new Marvel movie, and I've heard of it, but I didn't know it was coming out.
Have you
or
heard of
anything about it.
Shang-Chi?
Not Shang-Chi.
Yeah, it's pronounced Shang-Chi or something like that.
Shang-Chi.
Not Shang-Chi, but either way. And the Ten Rings. It's a very, very good movie. So Marvel movies can get annoying to where you have to watch every single one, or else you'll not understand it, which is awful. And it's not a great movie watching experience because then you feel left out if you haven't seen 25 other movies, and no one really has the time to do that unless you're super into it, which I know some people are.
Yeah.
But this movie was a good standalone movie. It obviously had some tie-ins, not enough though to where it's like, oh, if you haven't seen this movie, you're not gonna understand. If you are going to watch it and you want some recommendations on which ones to watch before, I would say Doctor Strange and
It's a good one. So.
Iron Man 3, which is not a good one, and that's a surprising one. It's surprising, isn't it?
And you need it, or is it
no,
just...
you don't need either of those, but if you're like, you want to rewatch those or you want a refresher...
I would never want to rewatch Iron Man 3. So.
I would recommend it, but if you want to look up the plot, if you've already seen it, just to kind of get a refresher, because there is a small plot point, I won't spoil anything, but that kind of harkens back to that movie. So
Doctor Strange is a good one, though, on its own.
Really good, yeah, mind-bending, fun.
And that's another one where you don't have to really watch anything before. So
the best things about Shang-Chi were the fighting scenes. They were awesome. You could tell they were heavily martial arts influenced.
Yeah.
And also, I can't remember his name. Well, the acting overall was great, but the guy who played Shang-Chi's dad was incredible. He was very good. I won't say anything. He was just very good, and I enjoyed his performance in this movie. But the fight scenes were cool. There was one, I won't spoil. One was on the side of a building on like bamboo scaffolding, and it was incredible the way they were like flipping
the Kung
through.
Fu Panda scene.
Yeah, kind of. And one was on this San Francisco those buses that are connected by a little bendy tube kind of thing, because there's a lot of hills in San Fran, so your suspension would get destroyed if there was just one straight piece of metal. So that was a pretty unique fight scene too. And obviously the ones in the end, the like big battle scenes are cool, but like these individual ones at the very beginning are awesome. So I recommend it.
Give it a look.
If you have friends that are even slightly interested, push them to go, because it's super fun and they'll enjoy it, I promise.
So is it still in theaters, or is it on streaming service?
It just came out. You can probably buy it on Disney Plus, because they do that whole where you have to pay like
money, though.
Well, it's also a lot of money to go to the movie theater, so I think it's like $20 to buy it on Disney Plus.
Yeah, but you'd have to get people I personally, when I watch a movie, if I'm streaming it, I don't think I've ever. I can't say that because we do it often.
Well, okay, so think about it like
watch
this.
It with people.
You go to a movie with 3 people, you're paying probably like $36. If it's $12 to see it, you're paying $20.
I understand the point of making it that much, but I'm saying like when I stream a movie, the only people I would watch it with are people in the house.
Yeah.
So you've already seen it. I'm just gonna stream it on my own.
Well, I'm saying
so
if you have like friends, you want to go out and like do that. I'm just saying it's
all I'm saying
an option.
Anyway,
a lot of I'm saying.
I'm just saying.
Let's get back to my rating of it. I would say is probably like a 9.1 out of 10. I really enjoyed it.
That's pretty high.
Yeah,
for a movie.
Yeah, for a movie. Yeah, no, even just like a Marvel movie. It might be a little bit higher, but I'm not gonna go that far. I really enjoyed it though.
Is that your favorite Marvel movie?
No, I like Captain America and the Winter Soldier a lot. And I mean the scale of like Infinity War and Endgame are super fun too. But
I didn't really like them too much, honestly. Looking back on it, it just wasn't.
It's just too long. I wouldn't go back and rewatch. Some people are super into Marvel, and our friend Jared just kind of went through and rewatched a lot of them. So, I'd probably say Captain America, Winter Soldier. Or Civil War was fun too.
I don't know what I would go with. I have no clue.
I love Guardians too. Guardians I've seen a bunch.
Is good. That'd be up there for me. Doctor Strange would be up there for me too. I thought that was a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
Iron Man 1 might be up there too, just because that was honestly, at the time when it came out, that was a really good movie. Like, with no Marvel ties, pretty much. Like, there wasn't much before that.
Yeah.
It was.
And you were like 8 years old, so flying doing a robot was awesome.
Whoa, this dude just made a robot in a cave.
Yeah,
that was cool.
So
yeah, I was, starstruck by that. But I didn't really stick with Marvel too much. I've seen a lot of them just because they're sensationalized, and I've been there since day one.
Yeah.
But
speaking of,
I liked, honestly, sorry, the thing that got me into Marvel more was Thor, which is surprising because that's a notoriously terrible movie.
Thor: The Dark World's terrible, and I don't like Thor either.
Not the character of the
movie. I love Thor the character.
I haven't seen that one. I've only seen Thor and Thor Ragnarok. I
The
skipped over
Ragnarok's
everyone.
awesome.
Yeah, Ragnarok's great.
That might
That's
be
that
up
might be number one.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's why I'm still sticking with it. Is because of Thor of all movies.
Nice. Well, speaking of Marvel movies, this is kind of a tie-in. I want to talk about teaching a little bit. So I started my first. It wasn't a full week of teaching, but I started teaching. My students, and they're seventh graders, which they're awesome. They're so much fun. I was just telling, like, I had this little introduction to me on like a slideshow, like that I showed them on the first day.
Yeah.
And I told them that I like DC. Like I had like a picture of DC up there, and they would just like freak out. They're like,
yeah.
"Oh!" Like I just like insulted their mother, and like, I was like, "No, no, no." I was like, "I like DC characters and the animated shows and the comics when I was younger." I was like, Marvel movies are just
They probably think you're so old.
Yeah, they do.
Read comics.
Yeah, but I didn't read a lot of comics, but I read some comics when I was younger.
Yeah.
But anyway,
You got them over there still.
yeah.
I think.
But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I was like, Marvel movies are better, but like I like the characters, and they were like, all right. They like settle down,
Yeah.
and then yeah, the kids are awesome. So the story I want to tell from this week, which was this is great. So I have 2 fish tanks in my room, like 30-gallon normal size fish tanks. Got them from my old job, so they donated them, which is awesome. And I got the fish on Thursday after school, put them in there, acclimated them, and then left
What
them
kind
in
of
there.
fish?
I got one beta fish, so he's chilling by himself because he's super aggressive.
Massive tank.
Huh? Yeah.
Holy.
Well, massive is not. It's like
30-gallon for a beta fish.
yeah. Okay. Yes, that's fair.
a massive.
That's
tank.
fair. He's kind of scared, I think, of the big expanse of it. But I'd rather go bigger than smaller.
Yeah, he's back in the ocean again.
And I got 4 tetras. Like one is they're like decent size. They're like that big, like quarter size now. They'll get bigger. But one's like blue. No, sorry, one's green, one's pink, and then 2 are like normal fish color, like black and white, kind of
ugly.
Kind of. So, where was I going with this? Oh, so the one beta fish, I have a homeroom class, and then I have 4 classes where I teach actual science. So my homeroom class, I was like, I'll let them name the beta fish, and then I'll let my 4 period classes name the 4 tetras.
Sense.
But I didn't have time to name the tetras, so yesterday I just had them name the beta fish because we had extra time in homeroom. Yeah. And I was like, I have time to do this. So what I did was I wanted to give everyone a fair chance to vote and have their own names. So I did like a March Madness style bracket where I gave everyone the opportunity to pick their own names. I was like, all right, I'm not gonna say their names because I don't want to do anything like that.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, what's your name? Or sorry, what's the name you have for the fish? And I would put it in there, and then I'll go to the next student. So I ended up having like 26 names for this fish.
Yeah.
There were some great names on this list. Like, a couple kids wanted the fish to be named Obama, so that was interesting. But the final 4, like, I love what the final 4 was. The names were fish, fish, cheese, bread, and Peppa Pig. And I was like, I was like, these kids are crazy.
Let's go.
Like,
Peppa Pig.
Is that who you wanted to win?
That's who I wanted to win.
Cheese won. Unfortunately.
That's a good name though.
And
it's a normal name.
Yeah, the guy or the student who decided to. Oh, I've already narrowed it down. The student who chose the name Cheese and eventually won was so stoked about it. He was going around telling everybody about it. It was so cute. Like a student came in.
The name Cheese.
Yeah, right. They were like, someone came in to my like 3rd period or 5th period class, and they're like, "Where's Cheese?" And they're not in my homeroom. And I was like, "How do you know about Cheese?" And they were like, "Oh, the student who named it is like telling everybody the name." And I was like, "That's adorable."
You got some pull around there.
Yeah, right. So
First day.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And I printed out a little word art of the word cheese. Like it's like in the word cheese is in like yellow and like cheesy lettering.
Yeah.
And I just laminated it and put it up on his tank, and it's super cute. Students loved it. So
that dude's a legend now.
Yeah, right.
Created a legend.
Name Cheese. He's a funny kid. So yeah, that's my story from teaching this week. I'm sure there will be a lot of them, So
you gonna do a March Madness bracket for all the tetras?
I don't know. I think that might be a little convoluted, but if I have the time for it, I might do
it.
Also, my mom, speaking of teaching corner, got me this cute little. Oh gosh, the glare is too tough.
That's off the computer screen. That's not
gonna
fix.
It says best teacher on it, and it's super cute. So thanks, Ma. But yeah, that's my exploits from teaching this week.
That sounds fun. I don't have any experiences like that at my work, so
yeah,
it's good to hear. It's mostly dealing with people that are complaining. So
No, I have that too.
I mean,
don't worry.
yeah. But I can't. I mean,
not
I'm
all
not gonna
cheese and
buy a
fish.
fish tank. Yeah, I'm not gonna buy a fish tank and be like, guys, you want to name the fish? And then like, what?
Yeah, you should have seen how pumped they were.
Yeah, they got us bagels, and everyone freaked out because they got us bagels.
I do enjoy the environment of the classroom, like just hanging out. The seventh graders are so cool. Like I've been told this by my friend who's an art teacher. Shout out Sam.
Mhm.
She was talking. She teaches all grades in middle school because that's
Yeah.
how the art teachers work. And I was like, yeah, I'm teaching seventh grade. When I told her, she's like, oh, seventh graders are the best. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, I was like, my seventh grade year is when I first started getting super awkward. So I don't remember it at all, really. I think I tried to block it out as best as possible.
I don't remember any of those years.
So I was like, really? Seventh grade's like great? And she's like, oh yeah. And she's like, sixth graders are still babies. They're still super excited to be in school. They're like raising their hand and asking a question for every single thing. Or like, my dad does this, and it's like, cool, that's awesome.
Great.
Eighth graders are the cool. They think they're the coolest things in the world. They're like, I'm going to high school next year. You can't tell me anything. I'm a smart aleck. Seventh graders are the perfect mix of not being hyper annoying, but also still
figuring things out.
Yeah, still being like, oh, figuring out this world. So I love my seventh graders. I'm sure I would love whatever grade, but like, they are super cool. Like just laid back. Like,
yeah, if you had to pick a grade in high school to teach, which grade would you want to teach?
So you really don't get to pick grades like that. Like you teach a variety. Like last year, I taught at a high school, and I taught one completely freshman class because it was like intro to physics, and I taught two mainly senior and junior classes because it was Chem 2. That's tough. I like the middle grades. I like because seniors don't care at all.
Yeah,
and
the middle grades are stuck.
Teaching the people who don't care is tough.
Yeah.
But I loved my freshmen. They were so funny. Like last year, they were my favorite class. So.
I feel like freshmen would be pretty good all around, just because like they'll come in not knowing what's going on,
and they're still
and
a
then
little
just
scared.
Goof around, but they're a little scared.
Seniors aren't scared.
No, they act like they're full blown adults, and then you realize when you hit college, you're like, oh my god,
but
I've reset. I still have that feeling in college. I feel like I'm a freshman when I'm walking around. I'm like, I'm graduating.
Yeah.
And I'm looking around at like people that look like doing exactly the same thing as me.
Yeah.
And I cannot tell what grade they're in.
Exactly right.
Yeah. I sat down in my communications class, and we had to do introductions, and the teacher just points to the first person, what grade? Say what grade you're in or whatever. What year you're in. Everybody in the class was a senior. I could have sworn everyone was a freshman. I thought everyone was a freshman. I thought I would be the only senior.
Yeah.
I'm like. And then we're all talking about like the jobs we have and like all that. I'm like,
oh, wow.
where am I? Like they're like, what do you want to do with your degree after? And everyone's like, oh, I'm already working for like this fashion line doing this.
Yeah, and you're like, what?
I'm like, what? I'm like, this is an elective, a communication elective that everyone needs to take. Like you have a choice of what communication.
But
communication ethics. Obviously, I haven't taken the course yet because I can't communicate correctly. Communication ethics.
I was at a spit take there. I was taking a nice long sip of my coffee, and he said communication.
Communication ethics.
ethics.
That class is like the easiest one to take apparently, so everyone takes it as their second communication elective. So I figured I'd be in there with literally anybody, but it was all seniors.
They're like, oh, I forgot to do that,
Yeah.
They're on your boat.
Yeah, no, they literally probably all are. And plus, it's the I think it's the latest one they had, even though it's still in the morning. It's like at 11 or noon or something like that.
But no one wants to do the 8 o'clock.
Nobody wants to do the 8 o'clock, so it's all seniors in my class. I guarantee you that's why it's
8 o'clock communications class is an ironic statement because nobody be communicating.
Nobody's gonna communicate. Oh my god, I have an 8 o'clock.
Is that an oxymoron? Is that what I was going for actually? Hyperbole.
Straw man.
Let's just start Chekhov's gun. Anyway.
But yeah, the 8 a.m. suck.
Yeah, no, I
have one right now, which is a exchange server class, a 400 level IS class, which is it's essentially how email works behind the scenes, and it's only on that. It's on the servers that emails work on.
What's the secret, by the way, to email? Is there
a
little guy in there?
Yeah, there's a little guy that like, they actually send it to a Google server and they actually pull it out of the physical mailbox.
Yeah.
And they got a whole mail sorting room that a bunch of people work in. They just hand the mail to another guy, and he runs it across the room to another
mailbox.
That's
cool. I like to imagine little tiny mice in your Ethernet cables and their fiber optics scurry real fast with the messages in their mouth, like little scrolls in their mouth, and they just run and some tiny like wise elf writes all the letters on a typewriter actually, or with a quill pen.
We should do a theory crafted like movie or like environment of some kind where if the world developed without electricity, but everything is still the same. So like cables
Like,
with little rats.
Is that
in them.
Is that steampunk?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it literally is. Never mind. Never mind. Yeah, you're right.
Cringe.
But all the technology still exists. So computers still exist. It's like modern society, but everything is justified in different ways. So little rats are running through your Ethernet cable carrying data packets.
That's awesome. I love that.
Little fireflies are in your computer monitor lighting up different colors to show you what's going on.
That's cool. Like Shrek.
Yeah. Yes. We're making Shrek 5.
Steampunk Shrek.
Steampunk Shrek.
I saw a tweet it's very small sidebar, but it was someone was like, video game lamps use real electricity.
Yeah.
I was like, that's awesome.
That's technically the truth.
Yeah.
Twitter.
Yeah. True, I guess.
One.
Yeah.
True, I guess. Yeah.
Also, speaking of little rodents and chipmunks, I was outside with our cat Woody. So our cat is super old. He's very snotty. He sneezes all the time, and so in order to like clear him up, and he just likes going outside. We take him outside. He likes to chill out there. We hang out with him. I was out there with him this morning, and I saw a chipmunk, cute little guy. We have this like downed gutter like rain spout tube, that like black like kind of like.
Yeah.
It's like
I know what you're talking about in the yard.
It's like if you know the like dog trails when they run through those big tubes. It's like that, but
smaller version.
The chipmunk was at the front of that. I'm like, run through it. And I was like, this is your destiny. He didn't do it, unfortunately.
Doesn't that tube go up in the air?
No, this one was on the deck. It was just laying flat.
I know of one that goes up in the air. I'm like, if that dude could run up it and jump out the top somehow,
that would have been awesome. No, but I saw him chilling there. And our old outside cat named Taco, she would like kill these things. If there was anything smaller than her in our yard, it would be dead and on our front door the next morning.
Yep.
So I was interested. So I took Woody and I picked him up and I pointed him towards the chipmunk. I didn't want to. He couldn't kill it. Like I know
Woody couldn't do anything.
I know he wouldn't chase after it, but like I just put him down. I was like, look, and he like looked up for like half a second, looked at it, and then he looked away and like started walking back towards our golf net to like rub up against it. And I was like, man, you are a useless cat, but I love you so much.
He does not care, but he's such a cutie.
It was awesome. Yeah, because I'm like, like, didn't, like, in Christmas Vacation where it's like, where's Eddie? Didn't he used to eat these things?
Yeah.
Like, no, he found out squirrel has a lot of cholesterol. Where's Taga? Didn't she used to eat these things? But anyway, that's
classic
all I got.
Cat stories. I think that's all we got for the podcast as well. We've been going on for a decent bit. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. You find a couple things that you wanted to listen to.
All of our timestamps is always in the description, so you can always hop around. We won't feel offended. Just thankful to you listening to anything.
Find whatever you like. Maybe Matt's Movie Corner, you like that segment. Maybe you like the football segment more than anything. That'd be wild because I don't know if anyone does except for us.
We'll see.
Either way, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Brothers Whimm. You can find us at YouTube, The Brothers Whimm Podcast. You can email us still at brotherswhim@gmail.com. Go ahead and check out our last podcast episode, episode 32, I believe.
God, if I know.
I tried to remember. I was going to remember the name. Couldn't remember the name for the life of me.
The Kanye one, right? You're talking about?
Oh, yeah, it was Kanye one. It was the Nicious episode featuring Marilyn Manson and Drake. Go ahead and check that one out.
If you like Kanye.
If you like Kanye, yeah. I know a lot of people were asking about the last podcast in person to me.
Like, why did you do that?
They were excited. They wanted to hear my opinion. It was mostly people asking my opinion on Donda, and I was like, if you, like, a couple people mentioned they listened to the podcast, and I was like, just watch the next episode.
Cool. That's awesome.
So yeah, I don't
Thank you, those people.
have an hour-long conversation with them.
I hope you like my. Yeah, well, look at that.
Yeah.
You're saving time.
Succinctly tell them to go check out the podcast.
You don't have to have an hour-long conversation and then lose a friend.
Yeah. No.
You got the middleman and just lose your friend.
Yeah. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I've been Matt, as always.
And I've been Ian, as always.
And we appreciate you guys listening.
I'm going to get like a Prince-style name change where it's just a symbol and then I won't be able to say that anymore.
Yeah.
So the artist formerly known as Ian.
Sir Ian.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we thank you guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, God.